Alright, so I'm back, bro. I ain't even know YouTube cut me off. None of that. But let's go ahead. Let's get back into it. We're gonna go ahead and do notes on frequency.
Or manifesting. We live in a world where everything is based on frequency. Wireless networks, how our body works, our brain, everything is frequency. If you can tap into how this stuff works and understand it to
Don't get pissed off.
a certain level, it can give you an enormous advantage in being able to create the life that you want. Now, one of the things that has happened over the last, I'd say about 50 or maybe even 100 years, is that the entire frequency of the planet is rising.
So that's why when people be like,
and as a result of it, creations, manifestations, and certain kinds of breakthroughs in thoughts and technology have been emerging. Now, this is one way of looking at reality, especially if you're looking at reality from the perspective of creating something that you desire. And the way I adopt or look at frequency or vibration is I have a vision and something that I want to create, and that thing that I'm looking to create, or that experience that I'm looking to have, exists in a frequency. So we have millions and millions of different frequencies, and what we tune ourselves into within ourselves is going to allow us to experience, or what I'm going to say, materialize that what we desire is going to be a net result of our ability to align with that frequency. So think about your own personal experiences here as we get into discussion. Think about a time in your life where you felt negative. Maybe you felt fearful, angry, resentful. And as a result of that, you started to notice more fearful, angry, resentful, or negative people, environment, and circumstance materialize in your reality. Now think about a time in your life where you felt very positive, uplifted. In fact, think about a time when you were in a peak state when it comes to flow. And notice how during that time you were around, or you experienced certain kinds of people, environment, circumstance that was a net result of that same feeling. Now we go through life fluctuating in our frequency or our vibration. But the truth is this: the kind of frequency or the vibration that we have is going to determine the kind of reality that we live in. And we talk about this a lot when we say success consciousness or abundance consciousness versus scarcity consciousness. Abundance consciousness is a consciousness that exists in a higher frequency, higher vibration. And the materialization of that is abundance for you, abundance for others that you serve, and abundance for divine or evolution. And the higher the frequency, or the higher the vibration that you feel, the more it feels true, and you even come up with conceptual ideas to realize that it's true, that you can create something of value and put it out there, and others can benefit from it, and it actually also contributes to evolution. Or some way, somehow, in the spirit of harmony, which by the way is win-win-win, win for you, win for the other person, win for divine, whatever it is that you desire materializes. So another way of looking at it is that in higher states of vibration, higher levels of vibration, your goals, your dreams, your desires materialize in a way that is the most harmonious with everyone. So let's get into discussion as we go deep into something that may be a newer concept that you have experienced, or you have a lot of experience with, and maybe you sense it, because vibrations is really something that you feel. But we're going to conceptualize it, dimensionalize it, so you can understand it better, so you'll be able to work with it to be able to create the results that you want. And before we get started, I want to mention one key anchor, and that's the discussions that I've been having on the Neville Goddard information. Neville Goddard talks about manifesting from the perspective of feeling the wish fulfilled. So the idea is that you have a desire, what it is that you're looking to create, And your goal is to visualize yourself achieving that desire. So let's say your goal is to make $120,000 a year. And right now maybe you're making $50,000 a year. Well, the goal is to visualize yourself actually receiving a paycheck for maybe $120,000 or whatever it is broken down per month, $100 or $12,000 a month from somebody that maybe that person says to you, here's a paycheck for the great service that you provide. And actually feel yourself receiving that paycheck, that wish fulfilled, and letting that go, actually just dropping it out of your awareness, and then realizing that whatever thought you have from that feeling is going to materialize, and to just trust the process. Now, what you actually are experiencing when we talk about vibrations and frequency is in that moment where you visualize and emotionalize yourself achieving that outcome, which is receiving that check and feeling the gratitude and joy, you are actually touching in that vibration. And then what's happened is you're orienting yourself to living in that vibration, some way, somehow, without overthinking it, because Neville makes the process very, very simple. You find yourself navigating reality and then fusing yourself to that vibration in which that outcome materializes. So based on that, we're going to have discussions here, and we're going to talk about it from multiple perspectives: problem solving, relationships, as we get into later stages. And I'm going to call this materializing and dematerializing. And she talks about it in the book. And I recommend going into the book because I'm just scratching the surface, which what was discussed in there, because the book really gets into a lot of details. So what is actually happening then? You have this idea and this vision of what it is that you want to create. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You visualize it, and then you drop it out of your awareness, knowing with absolute faith it will materialize. In other words, you will go into that vibration, and then you will experience that outcome some way, somehow. And you don't think about how, because one of the things that we talk about as we get later into this discussion is that if you think about the how, you get two in your head, and you might even end up in different vibrations that are not in the vibration and in alignment with the materialization of that goal that you want. So again, to summarize this, you have a goal, a vision. You feel yourself achieving that vision, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You let it go and trust that you'll end up in that vibration. You'll navigate reality, and your intuition will guide you towards that vibration. You will find that vibration and you will stay in it, and then whatever it is will materialize. Okay, the world is a reflection of within. Your vibration, how you feel, is literally materializing the world. Now, this can be a very far out concept. That's why this is understood during a transformation as your overall personal frequency goes up. So we'll talk about this in a moment. We're all evolving into heightened sensitivity. We are born sensitive and empathic, but through lack of validation and training, the ability often shuts down or is placed on a shelf labeled for use at a later date. So it is my belief that we come from a perfect source. A lot of spiritual stuff, they talk about this. You come from a perfect place. And that what you did was you manifested here on this planet to learn how to have gratitude for where you came from. So you're experiencing contrast. And another thing that you experience is how to create. So you essentially learn how to create in the image of the Creator. So we were created in the image of the Creator to learn how to create in the image of the Creator, because then once you learn these lessons, which is contained within this video and what Neville Goddard talks about, then you live here in harmony, spirit of harmony. In other words, you manifest heaven on earth here, because I believe that divine is always looking to manifest here on this earth, and you're being a conduit for it. And then when your time over here is done and you've had all these experiences, you go back with a heightened sense of gratitude. So you are born sensitive to this ability. It's just what happens is that when we're born, we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. The conscious mind isn't really developed yet, so we just kind of accept all the different ideas and belief systems and viewpoints from others of how reality works, and sometimes that can be disempowering information. And then we lose our ability to tap into our intuition and manifest based on the stuff that we're talking about here, which is just tuning in to the vibration and the frequency. And if this is not encouraged for an extended period of time, you can maybe go through an extended period of your life not realizing you have this potential, just kind of living your life based on how somebody else tells you you should live. or always looking for approval, validation from the external world, always looking to create based on what others are creating, but yet feeling very unfulfilled, like you're not really getting the most out of life. And then maybe you come across information like this or a book like this or Neville Goddard information, whatever, and it really starts to resonate with you. And then you start to put this stuff to use and you actually start to materialize. You actually start to create things, manifest things. And then you begin to question everything you've ever learned in life. And then you move down this journey. And for me, it's been the journey since 2004. And I got deeper and deeper into the stuff. And for me at that time, all I really wanted to do was get out of $50,000 debt. So I used the information in Think and Grow Rich, which is very similar to this because all the stuff pretty much says the same thing, just different ways, and targets different audiences when it comes to business and personal development and spiritual information, really at its core and its essence, because everyone is really materializing their vision and their dream through these different kinds of books and trainings that they go through. That's what they're looking to learn. And for me, as I kept going deeper and deeper into this, I started opening more and more layers of how this works. So maybe you have a very similar experience. So the goal is this then. We want to realize that overall everybody's becoming more sensitive. Remember I mentioned that the vibration is increasing overall. So more and more people are starting to realize, and they're starting to feel it even more, that they have this ability. And they're becoming sensitive to the vibes of others, environments, and circumstances. But the thing about that is they don't know what to do with it. Like what a lot of times they'll kind of fight it. They might end up in a situation where they're around a group of people and they don't feel comfortable there, but they're not able to conceptualize it or put it into words or explain it or logically explain it. They don't understand it, so they just kind of stay there, dishonoring themselves. So if you're experiencing this, then this is going to be of interest to you, because what I'm suggesting here is to honor that feeling. Okay, realize that it's actually telling you something about yourself, your soul, and when you start to honor it, a whole new world opens up where you can live the way you exactly want to live and materialize and manifest that what you truly desire, which is your soul's desire. That energetic information then surfaces in me as though I am them, and all at once I know a complex pattern that includes their earthly desires, soul intentions, permissions, blockages, life lessons, talents, and how it's likely to feel when they attain their potential. So what she's talking about here is that when you're elevating yourself by working with the vibration, you're actually able to connect with others really well and understand where they're coming from. Because the goal over here is to be able to materialize. And
there are some things that you will start frequency-wise not dealing with as well. Like you literally will, like I went to this career expo, right? Give or take, it was good. I got information that I needed. There's places I can go out here and apply to, right? And I will, and stuff like that. At the same time, the situation with that is that it still turned out to be a thing where I was like, yeah, I can't be going to places like this. And I was like, when I go to places like this, I got to observe the environment in another way. When I go to places like this, I got to make sure that I do such and such and such and such. So you will recalibrate the way that you do things, and you will recalibrate the type of places that you frequent. Okay, let's keep going.
first, understand that it is possible, and you'll see it more and more in the spirit of harmony. So where it's win for you, win for the other person, and win for divine. There is a possibility, and it's totally true, and you'll understand it at higher levels of vibration, that everybody can live in abundance. Everyone can materialize. And if your home frequency or if your vibration is very low, it's hard to see that. And that's why those that are at a low vibration or choose to identify it will tend to manifest very scarcity-based behaviors to try to get what they want by taking away from others, because in all fairness, they don't understand it. Because the truth is this: different thoughts, feelings, and materializations and different information is only accessible in different vibrations. So if you're in a lower vibration, and that's the home vibration, you don't have access to the understanding that you can materialize and have what you want in the spirit of harmony. So this is part of the journey. We have to realize that at any point, no matter what vibration that you're at, there's like a little bit of hunch and inspiration or something you'll always experience, no matter what, that there is a greater possibility. And that's why I really like the book Man's Search for Meaning, because even in the concentration camps, he was able to find this possibility that exists. So the universe is set up in a very perfect way that no matter where we are in life, there is somewhere, no matter what the circumstances, a possibility to raise our vibration up. And as we raise our vibration up, we figure out how to solve the problem. So she says, I know it through my body sensations and feelings. The challenge then is to articulate the body of information in a logical, sequential way that makes sense to the other person. I've experienced many times at these deeper levels, it is impossible for us to truly be separate from others. So this is another thing that you will discover, is you'll feel a more connectedness to people. Now, Napoleon Hill talks about Think and Grow Rich, and as I keep studying the book, I start to pay more attention to that information, is that everybody is connected through the subconscious mind. So the way I believe it to work is, we all, and you've heard me mention this many times, we all have our conscious mind or subconscious mind, and we have a connection to the infinite intelligence, which is the source of all knowledge and wisdom and understanding, source of all information. So what happens is, as we start to clear our subconscious mind from negative programming, our vibration goes up, and we're able to then connect to the subconscious mind of other people, because they won't allow us into their subconscious mind unless our vibration is clear, unless our intent is pure, and if it's our best interest for them. Now think about this for a moment. Very pragmatically speaking, notice that if you've been in different stages in your life, and maybe some stage in your life you might have been kind of dark and negative, if you have, or in some stages of your life you were very positive, like really positive and embracing. Notice how people will gravitate towards you and be more trustworthy to you when you're more in a positive and uplifting state, and they'll kind of avoid you. And they won't even be able to articulate it with words. They'll just kind of like distance themselves away from you if you've got kind of a negative, dark energy. It's like they can read your thoughts and feelings and your intent. So this is what I mean by that. Now, when she's saying the challenge is then to be able to articulate it, this is why I put together this content, because one of my goals in life is to be able to articulate this very kind of esoteric concepts. Now, this is the beautiful thing about vibration going up, is more and more people are being able to articulate this information in different ways, in a way that makes conceptual sense. Because the truth is, we live in 4 realms of existence: spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional. And if one of those realms of existence doesn't understand the stuff, there can be kind of a disconnect. Okay, somebody has to feel it, that's what the vibration is, and then conceptually being able to put it in words or charts or certain kinds of processes and explain it. And that's why, when you study like Neville Goddard stuff, if you haven't had a certain level of experience, or you're not at a certain level of understanding, which is based on a certain level of vibration, then his stuff can seem very far out. But then what happens is, if you continue working on your vibration, you keep raising it up, that stuff will make even more sense to you. And that's why a book like Think and Grow Rich, as your vibration goes up, it starts to reveal more and more. And so will this book. So let's talk about personal vibration. Okay, so what happens is, we all have a collective, or we have a personal vibration, and then there's a collective vibration, and every environment or circumstances have different kinds of vibration. Physical things have different vibrations and so forth. Rather than making it so complex, let's look at it this way. You create your reality. All is mind. In the Kabbalion, we say all is mind. So you have the power to create reality the way you want by adjusting your own personal vibration. So regardless of circumstance or the external's vibration, if you tune your own vibration to be that which is in alignment with your vision, or that of abundance or well-being, even if you don't understand how to, and I promise you will with practice, how to tune yourself up to a certain vibration in which something exists, you can start by just feeling better about yourself, letting go of shame, letting go of guilt, anger, anything that holds you back. And then you'll start to notice that you'll materialize more positive things in your life. So that's how you know that your personal vibration has gone up. And you'll also know that you'll be able to materialize and manifest things faster. Because I have this belief that, and I've been testing this many times, and I found this to be true, is that the purer your thoughts, the cleaner that you are, and the more you are in the spirit of harmony, the more you get access to certain kinds of knowledge and information on how to materialize, and the more it makes sense to you. So what you have to do then is elevate your own personal vibration. Your personal vibration is the overall vibration that radiates from you at every or any given moment. Okay, right now you're putting out a vibration. And that vibration that you're putting out has materialized the world that you live in right now. So take a look at the world that you're living in right now and the different circumstances. That is a net result of the vibration that you keep yourself in.
I'm
So
in
if
it.
there's
Hold
very
on.
similar people, circumstances, and environments,
Oh,
that's a net result of the
all right.
vibration.
This motherfucker
Now, if you
giving us
change
almost a boring ass lecture. Hold on, but we gotta stay focused here. Hey, respect. Shout out to daughter's revenge. Shout out to you. Definitely shout out to you. Let me get this graphic together because can't nobody see that. Let's get these graphics together. You heard? The fuck? Oh yeah. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, they selling microphones on this bitch now? My bad, but that's the comment from Daughter's Revenge. I don't know why it's not letting me change it to bubbles. Like, why it look like that? That's crazy. Let me keep going here. Only thing I can see is this shit right here. I don't see nothing else. Let's get back. Let's get back to it. Hold on, y'all. All right. Listen. There's a lot of questions I understand when it comes to frequency. All right. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into that. I'm glad somebody in the comment section can talk now. The thing about frequency and vibration and understanding all of this stuff, why does it always do that? Why does it do that? Let me get that. Is that whatever lifestyle you on, right? You are still aligned with what you have. Now, I want to say something. Does environment matter? Yes, it does. Environment does matter. Yet, that is only if the environment can't be utilized. You have to make sure that there's utilization in that environment. You have to be able to be sure. And if you decide that you want to be elsewhere, you just have your plans of where you want to be. Now, I want to say something to environment because sometimes I agree with one thing that Shira 7 said. She said, if you don't like where you at, don't date where you at. Right? If you don't like where you at, don't date where you at. And that's some real shit. That's some real shit. I say this. When you have your own place, which is a plus, because you have your own place, then you can really build the frequency that you want to build because you have your own. Okay. I say that when you have your own place, when you are in your own space, when you are in a frequency that you can build truly and align it to what you want it to be, I say take advantage of that frequency. Okay? I say take advantage of that frequency and align yourself to quantum leaping and manifesting where it is that you truly want to be. So that means that let's say someone out there says they want to be living in like somewhere like New York City or somewhere like Atlanta, right? or somewhere like these places, right? And you have a plan, meaning you know you want to go out there for your acting career, you want to go out there for your writing or whatever opportunity that you see that yourself is going to have out there, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to visit that place. That's number one. You have to keep visiting the place that you say you want to be at. You take flights, you take trips every year, whatever, and you make way to always visit out there. And while you're out there, you make connections while you are out there. You attend shows. Shows are the best place to make connections. You attend shows, you attend events, you attend as artists and creatives art shows and this and that. You have people online that you follow that are from that place, and you go out there and you go to their shows and their small events and stuff like that. Like, you take yourself out there with purpose. And when you align like that, eventually you will be out there. Because see, what could happen is you may not per se be in the exact space that you say, but you may go up, ended up lining up somewhere similar to or better than where you said you wanted to be. I also state this. Also note inside your frequency, why do you feel that is the place that you want to be? I had a point where I wanted to be in Atlanta. I did. I said I want to go to Atlanta. It's the Black Hollywood. I'm a screenwriter. I really need to be in somewhere like Atlanta, right? And so as time went on, what I started to see about myself was there were things I had to get completed. There were projects I needed to get completed. There were things that that needed to be done on my side. Do you understand what I'm saying? And what that means is I have things that I need to just complete and just work with and see where it takes me from just getting it done with working with where I am already, instead of trying to bounce out when I could just go to those places and visit and attend events or whatever and do what needs to be done if that's where I want to be. You have to prep yourself. Go see what area you would like to be in if you visit. How much will the hotels be? Write that down, right? Get into where you would like to travel. If you might have to take a car, like rent a car, probably road trip out there, right? Or if you decide to take, I'm an airplane person, take the airplane out there. You got to get a rental car, whatever. How you gonna do that? What you gonna do? Who's like, you have to map out all these things prior to. You have to map out all these things prior to, because once you go to these bigger cities, it's going to be more expensive. That's just the facts. But when you go a year ahead early or 2 years or whatever ahead earlier than the time you plan to be there, a lot of times it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be way cheaper. It's not going to be as expensive as you may think. That's what I was taught about from people who travel a lot. They'd be like, that stuff is not as expensive as you think it is. Join a travel group where you can put your money together and everybody can travel together. People who probably travel to Atlanta a lot, people who probably travel to LA, people who probably travel to Chicago. Join a travelers group. That's another thing that will help you out. And just go out there and, get acquainted with everybody and stuff like that. Learn how you need to do things and just start teaching yourself how to travel. Because we're in America. We have a free to travel state. To be in America and travel to all of these states is like a beautiful thing to do, because that's a lot. That's not easy to do. Like there's people that have been to like 49 states, 39 states, 30, that's a beautiful thing if that's what you can do. And so take advantage of understanding how to travel. Teach yourself, what is it to travel? What am I preparing for when I travel? What do I need to get ready for when I travel? And so that's a frequency that you're pulling yourself into, because it's like you're traveling without traveling. Do you get what I'm saying? You're not physically traveling, but energetically you're traveling yourself to these spaces. And eventually you're going to materialize the things in these spaces that you say you want to travel to. And for whatever purpose you want to be there. I would say this as someone who is from New York City, and I will tell you this, for those of you outside of that, who are outside of the inner city, take advantage of the people who are where you are. If you're in the film industry, there's somebody with some kind of film, some type of award show. Somebody got something that's going on, and just add them to your mailing list and utilize it. There's somebody who got some event somewhere that you can go to, and just utilize that. Just take advantage of that. You feel me? There is some things that you can do wherever you are. So it's shit. If you got an opportunity to have a meet and greet, to see people that are on Tubi, take advantage of that meet and greet and go there. See what I'm saying? If you got the opportunity to actually be on a Tubi movie, or like, it's because it's never just like that, or you get a chance to act and do, you take advantage and get connected and acquainted to the people that's around you. And then from that's how you build yourself up from there. That's what you have to do as a creative. Okay? That's what I need you to do as a creative. Okay? What I also would like for you to understand as well, because we're talking about frequency here. I'm going to stick to what I said when it comes to dating. If you got shit that you got to get done for yourself, do that first before you start dating. Seriously. Do that first before you start dating. It's going to be a disaster. It didn't play, but I did a whole presentation because YouTube didn't tell me that they shut me down. But it's a whole thing where I was explaining about being in line with your frequency, and I'm so mad that YouTube didn't play it. Next time I'll make sure to just pause the scene and not play it at all. Like, I can't even fast forward it. Like, that copyright shit is real, goddamn. And plus, that movie is at part 2 right now, so they're like promoting it so everybody can go watch part 2. All right. Now, I want to say something else. Don't ever feel that you have to be in the inner city to make it. Don't ever feel like that. Don't ever feel that you ever have to do that. In today's times, you don't. In today's times, you can line yourself in the frequency and be like, I can go to school in LA. I can go to school in Chicago. I can go to school in Miami, right? I could take a course across my computer. I can attend an event across my computer before I can physically go there. All of these different type of things are things that you can do. And then another thing, I say just align with whatever it is that you can align with. So we're going to go ahead and get more into the notes of what he was talking about. All right. Squeeze it in a little bit more. I don't know why I can't change
vibration, especially if you change it drastically. The environment might change radically, or the people might change radically, or that they might leave your life, or new people might come in, or something like that. Circumstance will change, but that's all based on your vibration. The vibration of one aspect of your makeup affects the vibration of other aspects. So if you are in a elevated vibration or a higher vibration, which you are experiencing positive thoughts, what you'll notice is that you will start to attract different kinds of thoughts and even circumstances that are related to that vibration. So, for example, right now I'm looking at my phone and a sale just came in for one of my online training programs. And this is something that happens to me very frequently. When my vibration goes up, and I feel my vibration up as I explain this so I can articulate it better, I go into something that is in alignment with my vision. So this is exactly a practical example of what I was talking about earlier. And then what begins to happen is the external world begins to materialize accordingly. Obviously somebody bought it and so forth, and we don't know how it all plays out, and we don't even have to think about it. But the bottom line is this: the external world is a reflection of your inner world, which is your vibration. So as you go into a certain vibration and you stay in that vibration, you will attract the different things, people, circumstances, environments, manifestations that are related to that vibration. And as you have a thought or a feeling, it attracts other thoughts, feelings, people, circumstances. As mentioned, the subconscious minds are all connected based on that vibration. It's based on that vibration. Your personal vibration is affected by vibrations in the world and in other people. So in earlier stages of your journey, as you discover this, you also have not acquired the skills, and you can go through the various exercises that were in the book and so forth to be able to protect your vibration, to be able to guard your subconscious mind, and to be able to honor that self, which, by the way, is a net result of evolving, I believe, your self-image and your self-confidence. So what happens is, let's say you raise up your vibration and you feel very positive and you're putting out really good vibration. You're starting to attract all these different circumstances and scenarios and people into your life, and you feel really good. But for some reason, you still haven't done a lot of work on your self-confidence or self-esteem, your deep self-image. What will then happen is something might trigger that. Like you might experience a conversation that somebody has, and then you might judge them based.
I did before to that. I dead ass had so many times. I just end up just cutting people off. And a way that I did cut people off in my last job was I just put on my headphones. That was my way of cutting people off, just cutting people's energy off of me. Because when I tell you, people get very, very weird when you begin to shift yourself. They get very weird. They can't help but to say something to you. They can't help but it's the jealousy and envy is real, people. That's all I want to tell you. So you gotta stay focused, but let's go.
On what they're saying, you might say, oh, they're at a low vibration, they're negative. But you fail to realize that by judging them, what you're actually doing is you're going into that vibration.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you start to feel weird sensation.
Yes.
And you no longer find yourself in that flow. Now, that's a manifestation of the self-image, because the self-image essentially is saying, oh, it's from a low self-esteem or low confidence self-image that essentially says, I am at this level and I'm greater than, and these other people are not greater than. In a high degree of self-esteem, you accept others. You actually include others.
I want to add, this is why a lot of us are going back to Patreon, because YouTube is really napping people that's really speaking the truth. Okay, like I don't know what happened. I can't say I don't know, because I do, but I don't know to the capacity to why YouTube has got to this level of oversensitive censorship, and I don't like it, because I'm noticing those of us who are actually speaking something that means something, we're getting shut down. It's the same thing with Blog Talk Radio. I feel like that's why that got shut down too. So a lot of us I know we have MAGA here and all this type of stuff, and it seems as if we are able to speak how we want to. That's not true. When you speak from a spiritual, intellectual place, I am starting to realize how much everybody is trying to coddle that, and I do not fucking like it. Because I just saw, like, my last video, only played 6 minutes. Like I was not even showing. I didn't go to showing anything with the movie until like fucking what, 2 hours in. So why the hell is it only 6 minutes? So y'all didn't even get half of everything that I was telling y'all, unless y'all been hanging here. And see, that's the thing that pisses me off about this platform of YouTube, is because the censorship is becoming a thing where I'm like, are people reporting me on the low? Because that's what I'm starting to feel like. Somebody on the low is just out here reporting me because they don't like what I have to say. That's that out of town weird shit that I'm talking about with you people.
Others, you understand others, and you are aware of what they're saying, but you don't judge them based on it. So that's what I mean by other people's vibrations and circumstances and so forth based on self-image impact your vibration. That's why I believe it's important to raise your self-esteem and your self-confidence. And here's one of the things that I found is that as you work on feeling better and raising your own vibration, you will automatically attract the people, circumstances, environments, and information teaching you how to evolve your self-image, because that information exists in the higher vibrations. Your personal vibration is generated from inside you by your own choices. So this is where we're going to get really deep now. Those people that we're talking about, circumstance, everything is a materialization of how you think and feel inside. It always was. It's just that now you're more conscious. Remember I mentioned earlier, this is what we came into this world to learn. So that being said, as much as it seems that it's because of them or because of this and because of something external, it is really based on how you believe reality to work, and the materialization of how you believe reality to work is reflected. So even the rigidity of grip that it is about the other person is also based on certain kinds of thought processes and feelings that you have inside. Now, you learn this because, let's say it was a negative thought. As a soul, as the depth of who you are a good person. You know, Earl Nightingale said this over and over again or I would listen to it over and over again, in The Strangest Secret. He said, people are basically good. So people are basically good, and we just learn all these negative things, and because we don't know better, we just reenact it or recreate it based on subconscious programming and so forth. We materialize different things, including the need and desire, which is coming from a low self-esteem, to put someone else.
All right, y'all. It's time for us to listen to the preview of the book ourselves. I mean, I understand he's taking notes and he's telling us stuff, but let's receive it for ourselves. All right, let's go. Listen. Y'all know I don't explain myself, but listen to
Frequency, the Power of Personal Vibration by Penny Pierce. Narrated by Laurel Merlington. Copyright 2009 by Penny Pierce.
Oh, that was 2009.
This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Atria Books Beyond Words, a division of Simon & Schuster Incorporated, and was produced in the year 2012 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Forward. The audiobook you are listening to is not inert matter. The truth cuts deeper. A lot deeper than what is visible to your physical eyes, tangible to your hands, and translatable to your mind. It's about what drew this book into your electromagnetic field in the first place, an energetic resonance between you and the wisdom message contained within. This energy field is what Penny Pierce identifies as your home frequency, or your personal energy vibration. The words in this book vibrate at a specific energetic frequency too, sourced by the cosmic intelligence enlivening and sustaining existence, and they can transmit to you their grace and power. When Penny describes how spirit and matter dance ecstatically together, you will be eager to learn the steps within her 9 phases of personal transformation so that you may join in the celebration. The world's scientific communities agree that energy comprises all things, and that energy systems are conscious. Earth spins, they tell us, within an infinite electromagnetic field. Everything participates in this swirling, oscillating, vibrating energy.
Started.
It's interesting how we commonly regard cosmic energy as something out there, crackling in some far-flung location beyond the earth upon which we walk. The truth is, this same energy is present in here, right within our existence as an individual self, and everywhere present in the atmosphere in which we live. We are spacious beings who live and move in such a way that energetically impacts every corner of the cosmos. So when we are dealing with the subject of energetic frequencies, it is not a mysterious something vibrating out there in the stratosphere, but directly within our individual inner space. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the Jesuit priest and paleontologist, referred to this inner space as our interiority, a word he coined as a result of his intuitive relationship with the natural world, a cosmology which he considered to be an energetic, constantly evolving progression toward material complexity and consciousness. Chardin paid dearly for his theories. His work was banned by the Vatican, and he was often unwelcome in his country of birth, France, so he moved to China and later to New York City. It is a testimony to our evolutionary progress that today individuals such as Penny are free to openly share the results of their inner explorations in the laboratory of consciousness without religious or governmental censorship and condemnation. 21st century breakthroughs in understanding the body-mind-spirit connection and our interconnectedness with the cosmos have shifted our views and opened us to realizing the Earth's innate intelligence. Humanity has evolved in its understanding and, as a result, is far more conscious about the energetic connection, indeed oneness, with our Mother Earth, and how we must live in harmony with the invisible energetic laws that support all life. Penny has created what I'm choosing to call an energetic template, which offers skillful means, practical applications to our everyday life, and the deeper aspects of what it means to be a spiritual being having a human incarnation. Penny's detailed description of the Hindu chakra system of energies can give us a way to clear our energy field, to free coagulated energy. By applying ancient truths like these to the challenges of modern living, we can move from the information age to the intuition age, where the collective consciousness is becoming increasingly comfortable with our innate ability to tune in to the higher frequency of an expanded self, what I call the authentic self. Penny's brilliant scales of everyday vibrations go the distance in describing how we influence our body, emotions, and thoughts throughout the day. Together with her 9 stages of transformation, we can apply path-cutting skills that attune us to the energetic frequency of our current vibration, and then accelerate us to higher octave frequencies. Penny is obviously committed to transmitting her knowledge with impeccability, and generously shares with her listeners a profound understanding of our energetic anatomy. She presents a winning case for the fact that we have not only the capacity, but also the responsibility to calibrate and recalibrate our home frequency so that we may live our highest purpose. How encouraging it is to realize that the application of intuitive energy is not reserved for psychics or mystics. It is a faculty we all possess and use, consciously or unconsciously, in varying degrees, depending upon our individual development. Penny gives us the good news that by practicing the exercises she teaches, we can consciously develop our intuitive faculty and thereby consciously draw energy from the original storehouse of insight, intuition, and inspiration, the very life source within and all around us. Conscious cultivation and application of thought energy is a most powerful agent for self-transformation. It caused Carl Jung to describe an experience he had at 12 years of age in this way. Suddenly I had the overwhelming experience of having just emerged from a dense cloud.
Hold on a second, y'all.
All at once. Now I am myself. It was as if a wall of mist were at my back, and behind that wall there was not yet an eye. But at this moment I came upon myself, Previously I had existed too, but everything had merely happened to me. Now, I happened to myself. When we awaken to our true nature as energetic beings, when we enter our interiority and begin a conscious exploration of the mystery of consciousness, we will happen to ourselves. There are those who still consider self-reflection, contemplation, meditation, and other interior practices to be self-indulgent absorption. However, clinical studies and revolutionary advances within various disciplines of modern science continue to provide empirical evidence that inner practices positively shift the practitioner's energetic frequencies.
Okay. I just want to see if there was any comments here. Is anybody following her? I'm sure you are.
Whether electromagnetic, gravitational, or quantum, science is revealing what spiritual giants of all times and traditions have told us since the beginning of time. We are luminous, energetic beings of creative intelligence, fully equipped to consciously participate in the evolutionary impulse of the universe and become fully self-realized. In frequency, Penny Pierce intelligently and compassionately combines powerful teachings, personal experiences, her work with clients, and skillful methods for up-leveling our home frequency and uplifting not only our individual life, but life throughout the cosmos.
Perfect.
Hers is a most excellent energetic medicine, universally applicable to the times in which we live. Michael Bernard Beckwith, author of Spiritual Liberation. To the listener, the convergence of mysticism and the new physics has brought us to the gateway of our humanness. Beyond lies something that is literally beyond our language. Michael Talbot. You've no doubt noticed that we live in chaotic yet amazingly potent times. Just as restless animals sense an impending earthquake, you may feel a big change brewing. It's hard not to notice that everything today is as volatile as boiling water. The upside is that the volatility is shaking us up and pushing us to experience ourselves in an entirely new way, less as solid physical bodies separated by empty space, and more as energetically vibrational beings living interdependently with other vibrational beings in a vibrational world. We're becoming increasingly aware of internal and external energy, its qualities, and the principles by which it functions. Frequency, vibration, resonance, waves, oscillations, cycles, octaves, and spectrums. We're discovering that these concepts are at the heart of the newest techniques for knowing, doing, and having everything. In other words, your personal vibration, the frequency of energy you hold moment by moment in your body, emotions, and mind, is the most important tool you have for creating and living your ideal life. If your energy frequency is high, fast, and clear, life unfolds effortlessly and in alignment with your destiny, while a lower, slower, more distorted frequency begets a life of snags and disappointments. Frequencies rising. Our style and manner of thinking have undergone a revolution. We see with other eyes, we hear with other ears, and think with other thoughts than those we formerly used. Thomas Paine. There are some key things to understand now. 1. You are being affected by an evolutionary process that moves through specific stages, which is causing the energetic frequency of your body, emotions, and mind to accelerate. 2. Because the rising frequency of your energy parallels your level of awareness, you are gradually becoming more aware, sensitive, visionary, empathic, and loving. And 3. The biggest challenge of the next few years will be working with your sensitivity, keeping your personal vibration clear, and learning to use frequency principles to live successfully in the coming times. People who are sensitive to the invisible realms, and I count myself as one, have long intuited that the subtle frequency inside our bodies and in the earth itself has been steadily rising. This first stirs up internally, causing us to feel uncomfortable without knowing why. Then the external world accelerates and seems increasingly high-pitched or even chaotic. Eventually, we adjust to the new higher level of energy, and our awareness increases to the same degree. We've known instinctively that the heightening energy was coming in a series of waves, carrying our awareness incrementally up toward a shift in perception, where our sense of self would evolve from an identity based on separation, fear, and ego, to one based on interrelatedness, love, and soul. We sense that at that high frequency, our world would function according to new, more elegant and efficient principles. Now this shift is underway and evident to most of society, as we try to function in a climate where everything is increasing, from the amount of data we must digest, to the hours we must stay awake to get the job done, to the tidal wave of negativity that's beginning to seem normal. It can be a daunting task these days just to stay centered.
Yes.
We're leaving the information age and entering the intuition age, which brings with it nothing short of a major transformation in the way we perceive reality. The questions now are,
This is the answer to why people, it's interesting that she got in 2009. This is the answer to why people are feeling like people are just worse. Everybody has been saying that for the longest, and I'm just like, what world have you people been in? People have been the worst forever. But people have, since 2020, people are saying that people are just worse. People's tone and their energy and the way they speak to people and how they just like, they're just nasty. And I'm like, because a lot of people, they don't have the capacity to go deep and do the inner work. I watched it even in my own personal life. I watch people just regress. I watch mothers break down and say they're not ready for their daughters to grow up. And I'm just like, what did you have a child for? If you're not ready for the child to become an adult, what did you become a parent for? I have seen mothers where the daughter child has grown up and then they regress. While the daughter is growing up, they end up becoming a teenager again. I've seen that happen. And I've also learned that there are people who they are just completely miserable from the loss of a parent and they never got over it, or they have to cut a parent off, or their parent has abandoned them or something, and they're carrying this nasty little bitterness about it. And so they're walking around here being so nasty to people because their lives is so fucked up. Their life is fucked up. And that's why they carry on the way that they do. Let's go.
how do we learn the rules of this expanded vibrational world and develop the energy and consciousness skills that can help us function in it? How do we stabilize our new perception, identity, and behavior while our previous way of life is going through its death throes?
What's this?
Are the frequencies calling you? Like many people, you may be responding to the accelerating frequency of life by trying to adjust your own energy state in a variety of ways, both healthy and unhealthy, to find equilibrium, security, and relief from stress. Or you may be hunting hungrily for clues about how to thrive in this excited world with its massive complexity. The answers do not lie in gadgets and gizmos or in technologically assisted ways of processing more data. The simple truth is that moving into the intuition age is all about what you can know and do with energy and how you can develop effective, expanded sensitivity. You may have picked up this audiobook because you'd like to stop being plagued by emotional tailspins that block the forward flow of your life. You might be drained by people who are disturbed and reactive, or depressed and apathetic. Maybe you're overwhelmed by non-stop stimulation and don't want to continue to feel either numb or hyper-electrical. You may feel cluttered with subtle nonverbal information you've picked up concerning other people, the news, the future, and the events in your life. You'd like to make sense of it, but can't exactly pinpoint what's affecting you. Perhaps you'd like to reclaim your sensitive spiritual nature that's been lost amid academic, administrative, or materialistic pursuits. Your analytical mind may have brought you success in business, but now you may need to be wildly innovative, motivate people from within, and revolutionize systems that seem like dinosaurs. Have you made strides by understanding the law of attraction? And do you want to know more about the new principles of our emerging reality? Are you trying to find the right balance between will and trust in creating your life? If you feel nearly paralyzed by the challenge to be clear or change quickly, don't worry. Everything is proceeding in right timing, and we're all in this process together, all learning to adjust ourselves to higher frequencies of awareness being the norm. We're shifting from a world where we learn to use cleverness and willpower to bridge imagined gaps between ourselves and others, and get what we want, to a world where there are no bridges to cross, where love, support, the easy materialization of results, and freedom are readily at hand. The truth is that our finest moments are most likely to occur when we are feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy, or unfulfilled. For it is only in such moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we are likely to step out of our ruts and start searching for different ways or truer answers. M. Scott Peck. Your highest frequency can be normal. I absolutely know that you can, under your own steam, dissolve the shell that separates you from a higher experience of self and a much better life. You don't need gurus or to be catapulted into supernatural experiences by dramatic events. You are becoming such a high-frequency being right here in your physical body that what used to be metaphysical, transpersonal.
I want to jump in because this is still about copyright too, and this is so I can't just play it through like that. I hate that I have to explain things. Okay, listen. So when you watch The Devil Wears Prada, I'm going to show clips because I can't play anything, but I can show clips of this movie of The Devil Wears Prada. Okay. Now, I should be able to say The Devil Wears Prada because that's a damn movie. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and extend it so you can see the full movie. So you can see the full. Oops, no, that's not it. That was not what I was trying to do here. Let's do the presentation better than this. Hold on, y'all. Hold up. Are we good now? All right. So this lady gets this job working here at this magazine called Runway. And this is what she looks like her first day, the one in blue. Okay, she looks like somebody's grandma. Her first day. So much that the lady who hired her was just looking like, what the hell's going on here? And why did I hire her? Okay. And then we go from that until boom, she comes to work in a whole Gucci fit after she gets it together. Because we ain't gonna go into it, because if y'all missed it, there's nothing I can do. I'm so mad that show didn't play. I had so much to say. Okay. But this is her after she stops crying and whining and starts getting herself together, and her confidence and all this stuff begins to happen. And as the movie went on, she began to teach herself, right? Don't get me wrong. She got spanked. She got spanked by Nigel. Nigel told her about herself. Nigel was like, hey, you don't take this job serious. We can all see it. Look at how you dress. You don't look like you take this job serious. You don't seem like you care anything about this job. And we all can see it. And so eventually she started learning. She started asking the proper questions. She started going into different spaces. She started learning the basics of fashion and how Miranda, the one who ran the magazine, how Miranda did her show. Excuse me. How Miranda ran everything on her show, and what the frequency was to be in that industry, that world, and that lifestyle. Okay. And so these are the tiny little steps that it takes to build the bigger steps, to align yourself to the frequency of that which is where you're going. All right, let's go.
Or normal is now almost ordinary. Some missing pieces of the big picture are making their way into your consciousness now, and this new understanding is facilitating the tipping point into the intuition age for all of us. Many people I talk to are close to understanding that we've never left home, the heaven experience, while at the same time we've been having the most amazing, captivating dream called life on earth. To fully wake up from the dream, you'll need an everyday experience of soul, of your own highest frequency state that you accept as normal. That experience is, among other things, one of empathy and compassion, where high-quality feeling shoots you straight through and beyond the seduction of suffering, the limitations of logic, and the fuzzy hypnosis of the world. You have to feel lovable, loved, and loving in your very cells before you can grasp the truth of your enlightened identity, know oneness, and settle into an expanded way of living. Being consciously sensitive to the subtle information encoded in energy frequencies will put you on the fast track to experiencing this saturated state of certainty about love and soul. To discover the information and experience stored in our most refined vibrations, we are experiencing an evolutionary movement down from our heady view of life into the knowledge of our bodies. Yet because we encounter emotion when doing this, and emotion can catalyze confusion, resistance, and panic, as well as lift us into a sublime mystical swoon, we tend to avoid it. By avoiding emotion, we create a blank spot where we don't experience our full self. I wrote Frequency to help you melt through the last barriers to awakening fully and actually feeling the experience of the expanded self that will be your normal state in the intuition age. There's more beyond the law of attraction. In recent years, there has been a series of books and DVDs that have acted as a breadcrumb trail to help us find our way through these stimulating times. They popularized leading-edge scientific and metaphysical ideas in a way that captured the heart and imagination of the public. Among these are The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, The Celestine Prophecy, The Intuitive Way, Your Life Purpose, The Field, What the Bleep Do We Know, The Hidden Messages in Water, The Da Vinci Code, The Law of Attraction, and The Secret. These works and others helped us clarify what we sensed was happening in the invisible realms and encouraged us to develop rudimentary skills in working with energy and awareness.
Yes.
At the same time, because of the introductory nature of the material, the wide array of interconnected topics introduced in such a short period, and the climate of fear in the world, the content was misinterpreted in numerous ways. I liken this to laying out the dots and numbers for a paint-by-number drawing. Once that's done, you still need to connect the dots before the skeleton of the artwork appears, and you can apply your unique vision to filling in the drawing with your favorite crayons or watercolors. I wrote Frequency to help you complete the picture.
Yes.
I want to help ease your transformation process. As a byproduct of my intuitive practice, I've had many visions, starting in the mid-1970s, about what's happening behind the scenes in today's intensifying world. I recognized early on that we were experiencing the beginning of personal transformation, the likes of which has not been experienced for thousands of years, and perhaps never at a global level. In the 1980s, I began giving lectures about this process of heightening frequency with titles like Predictions and Future Trends, Holographic Perception and the New Paradigm, and eliminating the gap between self and soul. In these talks, I would sketch out the components of the transformation process, and afterward, audience members would tell me, this helps to have a broader understanding of what I'm experiencing. Without knowing the process has a higher purpose and positive outcome, I've been confused, scared, depressed. So I want to help you understand this semi-invisible process you're being influenced by, and help you move through the phases of it fluidly. I want to give you techniques that change blocked emotion into exquisite sensitivity so you can decipher the messages contained in the myriad vibrational states. I want to make it easier for you to hold your own, to choose to live from your highest, most natural personal vibration, the one that matches your own soul. I want you to know how to recenter into it when other people's lower vibrations drag you down. There is a way to become a healthy sensitive, and there is great power in knowing how to work with your personal vibration. A radical inner transformation and rise to a new level of consciousness might be the only real hope we have in the current global crisis brought on by the dominance of the Western mechanistic paradigm. Stanislav Grof. Keeping a journal makes your growth more conscious. Keeping a journal is a surefire way to track your growth process. You might document what happens as you penetrate into this body of information. Scattered throughout the chapters, you'll find a variety of simple exercises that can help practice the concepts I'm giving you. Try doing them and writing about your results. What insights did you have? What difficulties or surprises did you encounter? You might play with direct writing, where you write straight from your core, letting a stream of words emerge as a spontaneous flow without censorship. Begin by posing a question, which serves as a magnet to draw forth a response from the deeper part of your awareness. Let the first words come. They will draw in the next ones. Don't think ahead or second guess what's being said. If a strange word comes to mind, write it down. Whatever is supposed to follow will simply occur next. To keep the flow going, it's best not to read what you've written until it's finished. You'll be surprised what you find yourself writing, because it will be so fresh and accurate. To know a thing, dip yourself in it like pen and ink. Let it write you in its own words. Elizabeth Ayres. At the end of each chapter, you can shift your awareness. At the end of each chapter, I've included a piece of direct writing that came from my home frequency, my core self or soul vibration, while I was in a calm state of higher awareness. The voice in the messages is just the simple voice of our oneness, a voice we can all access equally. It's not some channeled entity. When I wrote these more inspirational pieces, my personality and normal writing voice were not in the forefront, and the words came as the simplest, most direct description of deeper realities, or feeling states that were being revealed as I wrote. There is little wasted breath in the words, and each sentence has the power to transport you. I've included these messages for several reasons. 1. They give you an example of the kind of wise, centering guidance your inner self can access when you become very quiet and sensitive. Hopefully, listening to the messages will encourage you to experiment with tapping into your own clear source for direction and answers. 2. I want you to see that communication that comes from the heart and soul, anyone's heart and soul, as opposed to the cacophonous opinions of our ever-changing minds, has a universal appeal and contains universal truth. 3. The messages offer heartfelt insights that often extend the meaning of points made in each chapter. Like poetry does when compared to prose or technical writing, the messages take you beyond pure logic and let you see that not all knowing must fit neatly into little connected boxes to make sense. 4. I want you to experience the contrast between what it feels like to understand each chapter with your analytical left brain that likes to move fast, and what it's like to intentionally shift to a slower pace so you can feel into deeper, less intellectual, more personal meanings with your intuitive mind in the heart. By experiencing this shift from surface to core, from the older linear logical perception we're also used to the newer all at once experiential knowing that these...
This is a part of what I say to you about when you get these feelings like, you live a certain lifestyle, or you have a certain thing and your body feels like, I want to go to Atlanta, I want to go to New York City, I want to go to Chicago, I want to go to Miami, right? And your body get these urges and these feelings. You have to start tapping into it and really understand what's really going on to why you want to be in those places. And like, because you can just plan and just go visit those places, right? So you have to look into why is it that you truly have an urge to be in those places, especially if you've never been there before, right? So that's why you have to start with what is going on with you in the time and the moment, so that you will be able to have the answer to the frequency of what's going on around you, what's going on with you. Because I'm trying to tell you too, you got to be very careful, because other people's energy can affect you if you're not careful.
These pieces require, you'll begin to understand how you can enter the high vibrational, instantaneous, transformed way of knowing the world that I'm describing in frequency. If you listen to these messages much more slowly and deliberately than you normally would, or close your eyes as you listen, you'll notice they convey a different rhythm and vibration than the other sections of the book. They might sound corny, even new agey, if you listen to them with a too heady, skimming mind, but when you slow down so you can be with them and feel them in your body, they take on greater dimension and open you to new realities. Sometimes holding one sentence or phrase in your mind a few moments longer than usual will reveal a hidden meaning. This is a mini demonstration of the difference in the way reality can appear and feel when perceived from the mind alone, and when perceived from the unity of mind, heart, and body. You can skip over these home frequency messages, or you can use them to practice entering your own home frequency, which I describe in detail in Chapter 5. You might want to listen to all the pieces in a row at the end. It really doesn't matter. What could be interesting is to see how you react to the change of pace, vibration, and focus the messages summon up in you. If you feel irritated or relieved when you come to one, for example, it might be a clue about how you're moving through the key transitions in your own process of personal evolution. Using your intuition helps you experience more. It will help to pay attention to your intuition as you ingest and digest the material in frequency. Intuition is direct, unbiased perception that comes from unifying the fragmented parts of your awareness, body, emotions, mind, and spirit, and it arises when you're focused in the present moment, alert but not tense, connected with your body and feeling. Not using willpower, and feeling simple and open. Intuition can speak from different levels of your brain as instinctive attraction or repulsion, as impressions from one of your 5 senses, or as the sudden flash of understanding of a complex meaning, system, vision, or pattern of information. As I wrote in The Intuitive Way, our own private intuition is the catalyst for self-improvement and self-realization. Because when it comes to making deep and lasting changes in one's personal life, it is only subjective experience, not facts, that registers as real. When you pause between periods of listening and drift a bit, intuitive insights may pop to mind. When you're out in the world, experiences may occur that relate to the chapter you're listening to. Intuitive ahas will make the information particularly real to you. Many times, you may need to shift into sensing or feeling how something works to fully understand the concepts presented. As you develop your sensitivity, it will be your intuition that brings you insights about the meanings in the vibrations you sense. Intuition is a doorway that reveals a higher reality and clearer experience of the divine. And in the end, it will be your subjective interpretation of what your intuition brings that frees or inhibits your ability to act and grow. Finding frequency. The idea that the invisible universe is more real than the visible one indeed has never been so widely accepted by practical scientists as now. In this climactic century. But it is far from a new notion to seers and philosophers, for don't forget. Aristotle called life spirit-pervading matter, a concept all great religions would heartily endorse. The philosophy of mysticism emerges as eminently reasonable. The newly realized reality of the non-material world, of fields that influence, of waves that convey, of minds that pervade. Guy Murchie. I've been deeply involved in intuition development and interested in what Buddhists call skillful perception, basically how to use your mind to heal suffering, since the early 1970s. My enthusiasm for intuition and its related mysteries has...
You got a lot of people out here that have been fighting, that always got something to say to people, that always pride themselves in not being a punk and this and that. And those are the same people in this world that break down the most. They break down the most. Trust me when I tell you. Those same people who be in the streets fighting and carrying on, and they was something special in their neighborhood. Out of town people shit I tell y'all about. To this day, these people are breaking down. Those are your people who are online right now getting drunk, getting high, shot o'clock, all that stuff. Those are the same people.
Has never waned. And through my study of it, I found similar unifying truths in all religions and spiritual paths, and many secrets to maximizing an easy flow in life. It has been part of my intuitive practice to work with the art of inquiry, to regularly question what I know to see if it wants to dissolve or evolve into something more comprehensive, specific, or totally different. There have been times when an interest, such as reincarnation and knowing my past lives, which was a big part of my worldview for years, broadened into something so big and impersonal that it didn't hold the same meaning or importance anymore, and I stopped focusing on it so much. It's always surprising to be so fascinated with something then so neutral, but intuition, I've learned, is most accurate when we remain honest and flexible. In spite of my practice of inquiry, it hadn't occurred to me that there might be another stage beyond intuition development, a more specific skill that could take us deeper into our human potential. Recently, it dawned on me that I had not only become intuitive, but through my counseling practice, I had also developed empathic sensitivity to vibrations, textures of energy, consciousness frequencies, and patterns of interwoven emotion, belief, and purpose, and that working with all of this was a next step. We're all evolving into heightened sensitivity. We are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. William James. The whole outer world and its forms are a signature of the inner world. Jakob Burma. We are all born sensitive and empathic, but through lack of validation and training, the ability often shuts down or is placed on a shelf labeled for use at a later date. I'm lucky that mine stayed alive. I credit my mother for planting sensitivity seeds in me at an early age. We used to sit in the car waiting for my father while he ran into his office in Chicago on a Saturday, and to pass the time we'd play, "What is that person thinking?" We'd read the minds of passers-by and create imaginary lives for them. When disciplining me, she would often invoke the golden rule, saying, "How would you feel if you were in her shoes and someone did that to you?" I took the question literally and transported myself via imagination into my wrong friend's reality. I was learning to feel into people. When I began working as a professional intuitive in my 20s, information came predominantly through my inner visual and auditory senses, and it was rapid and impersonal. Soon my intuition shifted to a more tactile sensation-oriented mode, what metaphysics terms clairsentience, the inner sense of touch. I noticed I was sensing people with my whole body, not just my head, and I felt much more personally connected, though processing was slower. I began to feel the same way my clients were feeling. I'd look at a client whose face was stuck in a grimace on one side and feel my own face take on that exact musculature pattern. Within moments, I'd know the disgust he lived with. If I sat across from a client with a caved-in chest and rounded shoulders, I'd feel her inner posture in myself, which would elicit an understanding of why she felt sad or defeated. While doing readings, I'd often feel the physical symptoms, say, of someone's angina or a broken ankle. Hear music if my client was musical, or smell flowers or the seashore if the client was oriented to scent. At times, I'd experience a texture of energy like sandpaper, or ashes, or silk, and eventually realize that this was what the other person's reality felt like to them. I began to call this phenomenon direct impress. I thought this was what being impressionable meant, but at a very subtle level. As though information and feeling were actually pressing into me somehow. I also learned not to be handicapped by this way of knowing, since as soon as I focused on my own body and innate cheerfulness again, I would return to my natural, relatively well-balanced self. Some years ago, a woman came for a reading who, unbeknownst to me, had suffered sexual and physical abuse in her childhood, and she was tense and surly. I had not experienced this enough to recognize it as the phenomenon it has now become. And as she sat militantly in the chair opposite me, arms crossed tightly over her chest, acting like she didn't want to be there, I felt intimidated and scared, then angry. I persisted with professional kindness, though, and started the reading. As I penetrated through her layers of defense, I discovered the abuse and felt how wounded and vulnerable she was. I saw that I'd been feeling her feelings a few minutes earlier. She was intimidated, scared, and angry. Then I felt her innate love under it all, and compassion for what she'd courageously experienced flooded through me. I spoke to her about how I experienced her true self, and she broke down sobbing. I understood then how she had unconsciously mimicked the emotions of her abuser, a negative form of empathy or body sensitivity, and was acting out the same qualities he'd shown her, but in a different way. I thought, how many people have reacted to her as I almost did, reflecting back to the lack of caring, rejection, anger, and hardness, and reinforcing her wound. I learned a valuable lesson from her about how what I feel can be related to what people around me are feeling. We're just like tuning forks, copying the resonances we touch energetically.
Mm-hmm.
I want to emphasize that this deepening from a primarily visual mental orientation to a more feeling-oriented mode to an...
This is, listen, there was a moment when I had experienced, what was it? I had experienced a situation where I was talking to somebody, and I swear to you, I just felt like I wanted to block them. Like, I felt like it. And then they told me that somebody that they was recently talking to had blocked them, and they didn't understand why the person had blocked them. And I was to say to myself, I'm like, well, this person got something in their energy, because I feel like after I finish talking to them, I want to block them. I want to just, after all these years, I don't want to talk to them no more. And so, yes, you are like this tuning fork, just touching people's frequency, and you have to be careful, because there's people that they have an energy that'll make you want to hurt them, if not even worse than that. And I don't have to say that U word. You know what I mean?
Even deeper body oriented ultra-sensitivity was the developmental path that my abilities took, and it is not better than any other path. Some people remain more detached, working from the upper part of the brain, or receive information via one main preferred sensory mode, like hearing. My path down through the levels of the brain and into a merger with the body has been my teacher, gradually taking me directly into the principles of personal vibration I'm so excited to share with you in this book. You can know many things by feeling into life. At times I feel as if I am spread out over the landscape and inside things, and am myself living in every tree, in the splashing of the waves, in the clouds and animals that come and go, in the procession of seasons. Carl Jung. I've done tens of thousands of life and business readings. During the sessions, I relax into a soft, less defined personal identity and expand to include more space and time, raising the frequency of my body, emotions, and mind to a higher level. As I stay focused on the person and match the frequency of my energy to theirs, I become aware of an equally expanded amount of them, a field of information that contains their potential. In fact, I merge with them, or feel into them. That energetic information then surfaces in me as though I am them, and all at once I know a complex pattern that includes their earthly desires, soul intentions, permissions, blockages, life lessons, talents, and how it's likely to feel when they attain their potential. I know it through my own body sensations and feelings. The challenge then is to articulate the body of information in a logical, sequential way that makes sense to the other person. I have experienced many times how at these deeper levels it is impossible for us to truly be separate from others. So much is shared, and yet, paradoxically, we are also each unique. How all this works truly boggles the mind. The same process of feeling into can be used to deeply understand anything. A family dynamic, a sick houseplant, a corporation, a marketing trend, a country. Now, I know this is an ability we are all developing. Truly, it is our most normal way of knowing. This sensitivity born of the ability to commune with life. When we know and interact via expanded, higher-level vibration, the result is always understanding, appreciation, and compassion. I recount these things because you, too, may know about others in inexplicable ways or experience heightened sensitivity that floods you with information and insight you're not sure belongs to you. I want to reassure you that your sensitivity can become a strength and an incomparable skill for navigating the world, doing business, or attaining wisdom. In addition to deepening your knowing, working with the power of your personal vibration can help you clear your fears and be more loving, create true stability, have better relationships, manifest the life you need and want, and speed your spiritual growth. How frequency gave me its name. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that.
Yep.
Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Harold Whitman. I love synchronicity because the experiences of alignment are reassuring and entertaining, and they draw my attention to a higher coordinating force operating in life. Though science tells us that coincidence is normal 20% of the time, I still pay attention whenever signs and omens occur. In the case of creating this book, I received a signal that penetrated right to my heart and demonstrated the principles I would be writing about. My father lived alone in Florida, 3,000 miles from me, and was full of conflicting emotions buried under a stoic facade. He never wanted too much display of affection or meaningful talk. I assume, for fear of losing control and turning into a blubbering idiot. So I always felt a bit of strain when connecting with him. In 2000, he died suddenly as he sat in his armchair after dinner. His heart gave out. A neighbor found him 4 days later. I couldn't believe I hadn't seen it coming, that I hadn't called or visited him beforehand. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to interfere with his peaceful passing and had blocked me from seeing his death. But I was still upset that I hadn't been there for him. The day he died, I'd been writing a book on dreams and couldn't concentrate. I kept standing up suddenly from the computer and pacing around the house, then stopping and staring into space. What was I trying to do? Why was my creative flow blocked? By early afternoon, I decided to give up, play hooky, and go to the movies. I didn't know what was showing, but arrived in time to catch a film called Frequency, starring Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel. In it, a son finds he can talk to his dead father over their shortwave radio due to strange atmospheric conditions. By communicating this way, by finding a common frequency that spans time and dimensions, they solve mysteries, heal old wounds, and create an improved future where the father doesn't die early. I figured I was watching that movie as my own father was dying, and that was the closest I could get to being with him in his passing. Ever since, that film has held an especially powerful charge for me. Cut to the present. I'm outlining ideas for this book, and my mind is swimming with possibilities for cohesiveness, structure, and timeliness. What to call it? I'm filling pages of a notepad with a variety of clever phrases with modifying subtitles when my hand, by itself, writes Frequency, all in caps. I stare at it. I feel my father very close. Sense him grinning at me, like he's waiting for me to get the punchline of one of his numerous practical jokes. I think, yeah, that could work. Right, that could really work. But no, it's too simple. But no, it's a movie title. But yes, it's really the right vibration. I shiver, sit with it, and realize I've just experienced the same common frequency spanning the dimensions between life and so-called death that the characters experienced in the movie. And my father is enjoying the layered meanings tremendously. I've just felt the power and magic of frequency. Writing this book has been an education in itself for me. I thought I knew about vibration and sensitivity when I began, but the information and insights that spontaneously came to me in the process of writing were often mind-blowing. I've had so much fun penetrating into this body of knowledge and bringing it into words for you. In fact, the more I explored it, the happier I became. The visions and understanding I received about our coming reality are not in the least bit dire. They are shining and bright. I welcome you to this fascinating investigation of the potentials that have been waiting patiently inside you for their time to come. This is that time, and I hope you enjoy it to the fullest. Penny Pierce, Marin County, California. 1. Our phoenix-like transformation. There is a part of every living thing that wants to become itself. The tadpole into the frog, the chrysalis into the butterfly, the damaged human being into a whole one. That is spirituality. Ellen Bass. Do you ever feel like a balloon being inflated with helium? You're getting bigger and bigger, expanding to a huge fullness, and the gas just keeps coming. Try taking a minute to be aware of everything that interests, pleases, and upsets you. Then include all the creative breakthroughs, new facts, daily developments, bids for attention, and curiosities there are in the world. Now add all the opinions, complaints, hypocrisies, tragedies, dramas, and fears. Feel it all inside you, wanting to be known, pushing against the limits of the thinning membrane that holds your reality in existence. How much more room is there? How much more pressure can you take before your reality explodes? There's got to be another, more unlimited way of knowing. Fortunately, we happen to be in the middle of an evolutionary process whose end result will be new kinds of perception, identity, and reality that are totally free of constraints. There's a good reason you feel excited and pressured. We are in a phase is when one age is succeeding another, when everything is possible. Václav Havel. If you are to fully understand the emerging energy reality with its high frequency and unlimited perception, it helps to know there's a good reason you may feel shaken up, ultra-sensitive, or rudderless. The reality of the intuition age will be the result of a gradual but fairly rapid process of personal and societal transformation. It can put you through the ringer emotionally and energetically, but will eventually deliver you to an amazing destination you'll love. And yes, there is a roadmap to help you get there. Understanding the transformation process as a whole is crucial if you don't want to jump from one popular trend in thinking to the latest energy technique while missing key components that can make your experience smoother, faster, and more cohesive. In this chapter, I want to give you a summary of the transformational journey we have embarked on, so you can have a framework for what's happening to you and the world. In subsequent chapters, we'll dive into an exploration of the power of your personal vibration to navigate the stages in the transformation process successfully. And you'll learn to develop healthy, conscious sensitivity that benefits both yourself and others. For years now, in the worlds of physics, business, spirituality, and even politics, we've heard about the paradigm shift, quantum leap, new world order, tipping point, new age, and holographic reality. Even Star Wars gave us a powerful image of the jump to hyperspace. Thomas Kuhn popularized the concept of the paradigm shift in 1962, defining evolution as a series of peaceful interludes punctuated by intellectually violent revolutions, within which one conceptual worldview is replaced by another. So basically, a paradigm shift implies a change in the way we think about life that results in a change in behavior. Remember how developments in agriculture changed primitive hunter-gatherer societies? Or the way the printing press freed us from church domination in the Dark Ages? Or how personal computers and the internet helped us shift from being isolated and local to being interconnected global citizens? As significant as these developments were, they are within the realm of change. I believe what's happening today is more than change. We are living in a time of transformation. What's the difference? Change plus the next dimension equals transformation. Think of a dinner table with place settings, plates of food, beverages, and a centerpiece. Now mix up the arrangement. Put the salt shaker inside an empty wine glass, the napkins under the plates, the food on the tablecloth instead of in the serving bowls. Break a salad plate into pieces and turn the centerpiece upside down. Voila! You have change. You have recombined the existing items into new forms and relationships. But they all still exist on the tabletop in time and space, and there is still a perception that the items are separate from each other, solid and inert. Transformation, metamorphosis, or transmutation is something else altogether. These words imply an alchemical change in the basic nature of something, a shift from one energy state to another, a startling change that occurs miraculously, as if by magic. The Phoenix legend exemplifies this death of the ordinary self by transmuting, purifying fire, spiritual growth.
I'm going to say this to that part. There's little things that you can do that will bring about a shift, a frequency shift, more than what you realize. Cleaning your bathroom all the way, that's a frequency shift. What I need to do, clean my kitchen, that's a frequency shift. Okay? Organizing, decluttering, that's a frequency shift. Putting eyeliner on consistently every day before you start wearing full makeup, that's a frequency shift. All of these little intricate, tiny little things that you can do is a frequency shift. You decide to say, hey, I want to date online seriously. You teach yourself how to write a very professional, very serious not professional, a serious bio for somebody who's out here to date for long term, who's out here dating with the intentions of long term partnership, that's a shift. You're going to get on that dating site. You are going to sit down. You're going to take that bio and write it for long term partnership. You're going to take your dating site and you're going to start really combing people out that tells you what makes this person, shows you that they're a lifelong partner. You're not going to have no hoopla, no fuckery that you're going to deal with. That is all a very tiny frequency shift that you make. Cleaning out your social media, who you follow, that's a frequency shift. I had a recent situation with somebody I was following, and I was like, okay, she's very funny, right? And her dancing is very funny. But what happened is when this person began to talk, I said, oh, she's off. Because I would be like, the boyfriend's a little slow, and she would dance and she would carry on and she would be funny. And then I was like, oh, she's off. She ain't really all there, just like he ain't all there. That's why that's why he just be sitting there while she be dancing on him like that, right? So I put that together and I like, and so I realized like there's gonna be people I'm gonna have to unfollow on my socials, but it's to a point I just actually just don't even be on there. You see what I'm saying? And so that is something that's going to have to happen. I'm going to have to go right back to my social media. I'm going to have to do a lot of unfollowing, and I'm going to have to go back to quality people that I follow. Okay. I don't want to do a fucking lurking page, because for lurking page, you can have a lot more fun on those pages. But other than that, I just kind of was like, I don't even want to do that no more. But that's why I just keep them there, because I just keep them there until I'm ready to get rid of all of it. Right. So these little things are frequency shifts that you can make before she gets into the bigger frequency shifts.
And it's rebirth from the ashes as a creature of gold, light, and love. In our example of the dinner table, the water might transform into its gaseous state and seem to disappear, or the whole dinner table might transmute into an experience of its higher meaning, of abundance, or an experience of family love, and cease to be a physical thing at all. You're about to experience a big identity shift. When my identity shifts simultaneously. When reality shifts, my identity shifts simultaneously. Imagine a single point floating in space, and you are that point. Life has no dimension, no movement, and you have virtually no sense of self. Now imagine a series of points gathering close together like beads on a string until a mysterious critical mass of awareness is reached, and a new reality called the line is born. You merge completely into that new world, forgetting your identity as a point. You become a line. You have an expanded self and live in a world with new rules. There is movement that oscillates back and forth. You are much freer than you were as a dot. Now see if you can feel what...
Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all.
Occurs as a series of lines gathers close together and builds out in a previously unknown dimension, precipitating a new state of awareness called the plane. You forget your identity as a line. You experience moving, not just in 2 directions, but anywhere in 4 directions, even in curves. Life as a plane offers you many more options, and you can barely remember your former limited self. Next, try sensing what occurs when a series of planes gathers close together, stacks up, and expands into yet another dimension, catalyzing the reality of the 3-dimensional cube. You forget your identity as a plane because now you've opened into what seems like unlimited space and possibility. Your world contains time, space, and matter, finite objects and empty space, an inside and an outside world, a past, present, and future, and an idea of self based on what reflects back to you from other beings. Sound familiar? This cubic, 3-dimensional world is where we live now, who we think we are, and what we define as normal. Here we are somewhat discontented, highly excited, three-dimensional beings closing in on the moment of the next evolutionary leap. What could transform your sense of self and world? It probably won't have much to do with computers that function in less time or traveling through space in three-dimensional spacecraft. The transformation of our world will become real when the next higher dimension, the fourth, integrates with our cube reality. You might think of the fourth dimension as the realm of the soul, of spirit. An experience rather than a place, in which everything exists simultaneously in a unified field of energy and awareness, where everything contains everything else. All is known, and love is the primary substance out of which everything is made. What might reality be like when the third and fourth dimensions blend? Here's a hint. You won't be interested in linear cause and effect thinking or angular shapes. You'll think in spirals, and life will move in oscillating waves. You'll understand fractals and holograms as the basis of consciousness. There will be no such thing as distance, past, or future. In the new reality, soul will be the supreme force. Consciousness of the interpenetration of the visible and invisible realms will be the most valuable thing, and anything will be possible. Inca prophecy concerning the coming golden age. In their book, The 10th Insight, an Experiential Guide, James Redfield and Carol Adrienne quote Elizabeth Jenkins, director of the Huiracocha Foundation. The prophets of the Andes, the holy men and women, say the time period from 1993 to 2012 is a critical period in the evolution of human consciousness. We have entered the time they call the age of meeting ourselves again. During these times, the Andean people believe we will make a transition from the third level of awareness to the fourth. The challenge is to cleanse our collective fears and gather enough spiritual energy so mankind can pass collectively into fourth level consciousness. Outta, an Incan spiritual messenger from Peru, says, the children of the sun have existed since ancient times, since the last golden era. Even as there are 4 seasons of the year, so the 4 great cosmic ages follow one another. After the golden era came the silver era, then the bronze age, then the iron era, the present era consisting of the last 1,000 years. This last metallic era has a strong materialistic quality and has been an era of darkness as people have fallen into egotism, using the forces of Mother Nature in a negative way. It is a time of wars, of the coldness of metal. The age of iron, like a long winter, is now closing. The new golden age, like spring, is announcing itself throughout the world. We must return to the ways of nature to receive illumination, to recognize the cosmic laws and our bodies as temples. Each person is a sacred temple. The altar of that temple is the heart. The fire of love, a reflection of the greater light, burns upon this altar. This light within must be acknowledged, cared for, and venerated. This is the religion of the sons of the sun. You can understand transformation. Here's the mini-series. It does not matter how slowly you go, so long as you do not stop. Confucius. Yeah. Over many years of working at a core soul level with individuals and groups, and seeking ways to understand the accelerated inner growth that people were experiencing.
Before we get to that inner growth, Confucius said, doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop. Let me tell y'all something. Seth Rogen said it. He's like, yo, there's people that I have seen that are still out here working, still out here acting, still out here doing things. They're still out here and they have not stopped. Before I got here, some during while I was here, some after, some new, but they never stopped. And this is what I'm telling you is the risk that people take that walk a certain path as a creative and an artist. Okay. And what I want you to understand is that these people remain in the work that they remain in, and they don't stop in the work that they remain in. They know how to utilize that 9 to 5. They know how to take a job and like I remember I was saying to my manager, I was like, I wanted to do a job writing. And he was like, you don't want to do a job writing, you want to do a job the opposite of what it is that you do, because you're going to feel upset if you're working for somebody else writing and you're helping them out and you're not able to work on your stuff. Usually I would ignore that, but I thought about it and I was like, yeah, that's true. So you do, as a creative, take on jobs and positions that is the opposite, like not the total opposite, but sometimes you take on the opposite depending on what kind of work it is. And then for some people, they have to stay in alignment. So they have to work, they'll put themselves in a studio to work, even if they're just serving coffee. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person, I wouldn't mind doing that. They work as a bartender inside of a place that's next to the studio where this TV show or actors are at, right? Just something that aligns them to the frequency of what it is that they do. But let me tell you something. Whatever the frequency is that you do and the frequency of who you are, you're going to attract people for who you are. When I went to the Career Expo and it was at the college, the people who did the lasers, the girl was like super smart. And she knew what she was talking about. Her teacher pulled up, her professor pulled up, and he was just hilarious. Okay. They were all hilarious. And I vibed in that corner with them because that's where I belonged. That's my frequency. I'm around people who are intelligent like that. People who are like passionate about what it is that they do. The same passion that she has about lasers and the way she showed me about lasers, how anybody can do it, how it's not hard and how it's just simple math and it's not that hard and it's that and the third. It's the same thing that I can say if I talk to you about acting and and it didn't show, but how I was breaking down the whole movie and symbolism and stuff like that. It's the same passion. And so therefore I'm going to attract people who have that passion. Therefore I'm going to attract people like, hey, this is the college tour and this is the information on the college. And if you want to come by, you can come by, and it's that and the third. I'm going to get that frequency because that is my frequency. And it makes sense that I live in a college area because that is my frequency. And then soon they should have been had it. There's a library coming down the street because that's my frequency. That's a place that I'm going to be frequenting because that's my frequency. You see? And so your life will continue to align to who you are, no matter where you are. Sometimes it's so deep that you'll live somewhere and things will start coming into the area where you live at. There'll be businesses that come around, certain type of people that may come around. There'll be situations where you'll be like, wait a minute, I didn't even think that they would even have a place like this over here. And it could be a place that you frequent. The universe works like that. It's so beautiful. But you're going to recognize it and you're going to be someone that frequents that place because it's about your frequency.
When she found out that I was a good actor,
Experiencing, I evolved a highly detailed description of the transformation process. For simplicity's sake, I've distilled it here into 9 phases. The process, however, is quite fluid and organic, with phases often blurring into each other. You may recognize how you've experienced all or part of each stage, or many or just a few of the symptoms I've detailed. You may have breezed through one phase and spent extra time in another, or bounced back and forth for a while between 2 or 3 of the phases. You may even feel you've completed the process only to find you've been affected by a new wave of even high frequency energy. And you're now moving through the process again to access more of your soul. But this time, it's much easier. There's no fixed amount of time for traversing each phase. your process will be uniquely yours, and the parts that are especially important to you will be highlighted. Eventually, everyone will experience the transformation process because it's something that's affecting the entire planet. The more conscious and proactive you are, the easier and faster you'll move through the experience. Finding the logic in the progression of stages can help you make sense of your life and current events. Note that each step naturally flows into the next, and at each stage, you have a choice. You can either resist the change or trust that the flow is taking you to a better life. If you slow or stop the flow to try to maintain your old comfort level, you only stall your progress, reinforce fear, and create needless pressure and agitation. If you trust that a higher sanity is directing the flow, and that it's just right for you, and surrender to having the experiences you need, the frequency of your body, emotions, and mind will rise, and you will experience the benefits of each phase. Let's get a feel for the 9 stages in the transformation process, and look at the possible symptoms of the way each one may be showing up in your life and in society.
Oh, I had no clue that she even had 9 stages of transformation process. That's dope. So let's definitely get into that, and let's tap into each of them.
The early phases of the process are concerned with clearing everything that blocks or interferes with your soul's expression and the experience of love. That means you typically become uncomfortable because you're looking at fear and what you've previously denied. These phases don't last forever, thank goodness. There's a turning point about halfway into the process where the light breaks through and you experience profound relief. After this, all disruptive symptoms disappear and you begin blooming like a flower, happily living your destiny. The transformation process begins when 1. Spirit merges with body, emotions, and mind. The physical 3-dimensional world we think of as reality is beginning to respond to an influx of high-frequency energy, much as a napping child might be lured from sleep by the intoxicating smell of cookies baking in the oven. The 4th dimension, the next level of awareness that's just beyond you, is making itself known. Some say this is the result of distant cosmic events or a plasma field of cosmic energy passing through our part of the Milky Way. Whatever the cause, as the higher energy of this more spiritual dimension drops down in frequency and begins to permeate your world, you stir and respond, stretching up in frequency, yearning for the mystery. I feel excited and know there's more to life. I want something better. You experience thinning boundaries between heaven and earth, lightening you up, accelerating your perception, and giving you the sensation of something important waiting behind a curtain. A process of interpenetration begins, coming in gradually intensifying waves, resulting in the eventual merger of the 3rd and 4th dimensions. As you raise your consciousness and sensitivity levels, you catch glimpses of what's coming. One of the symptoms of this first stage is the emphasis on mind-body unity that we see in psychology, integrated medicine, athletics, and spiritual practices such as meditation and yoga. When mind and body become one, spirit, or the soul, is revealed, and you suddenly know it's been inside everything all along. You have a revelation about what it really feels like to be in your body as your body, and how conscious every cell is, and you immediately know your body's instinctual response to any situation and why. You understand that everything physical is conscious in some way. You may become interested in themes like attending church or spiritual groups, spiritualizing the mundane, being mindful, developing intuition, dreaming intentionally, finding your life purpose, and connecting with supernatural realms via crop circles, orbs, mediumship, religious mysticism, or near-death experiences. You might explore the subsurface foundations of life via physics, astronomy, microbiology, oceanography, and genetic research, or be interested in energetic power places or buried secrets, things like ancient mysteries, new medicines, extinct species, missing link life forms, or inner Earth civilizations. Many people are now starting to experience a new energy filtering down through the density of mass consciousness. This energy stirs your spirit to find freedom of expression and amplifies the voice within your heart. This new planetary energy facilitates people in thinking more about the heart and its potential in all human affairs. Dark Children. 2. The frequency of life increases in every way, everywhere. As the spiritual frequency penetrates the physical world, which includes both the planet and your own body, it also saturates your mind and emotions. Your body revs to adapt to the higher vibration, which initially disturbs your comfort level. High-frequency energy activates both positive and negative emotions, which makes you more aware of them. Your heart may pound or skip beats. You may experience waves of internal heat. Not only is your body hotter and buzzier, but your feelings are more hyper, and you may experience dramatic highs, lows, and erratic emotional releases. You can become overly sensitive and electrical and feel like you're under pressure that never lets up. You may see how your own heating up process parallels global warming. It's easy now to be intolerant of noise, crowds, allergens, certain foods, or the media. I feel shaky and nervous. Everything bothers me. My body aches. I'm tired but can't sleep. I want what I want right now. You might experience a short attention span, short-term memory loss, lack of motivation or disorientation. Physically, you can feel exhausted, be sick more than usual, or have more aches and pains. You might also feel hyperactive, impatient, irritable, and unable to relax. Insomnia is common, alternating with periods of sleeping like the dead. Many people retreat into their heads to the familiarity of logic and the desire for unlimited access to information. It's easy to become a slave to immediate gratification. You might try to escape your uncomfortable body by being absent-minded or living in a fantasy world, being distracted with problems in other people's lives, or obsessing and worrying. There can be an increase in higher frequency overactivity, malfunctions of the body like cancer, viruses, fevers, infections, rashes, allergies, ADHD, and nerve disorders. The positive effects of this phase are that if you allow the high-frequency energy to flow through you and let your body adjust naturally, you experience more vitality and endurance, as well as greater awareness, which means higher frequency feelings, love, generosity, happiness, enthusiasm, and higher frequency thoughts and motivations, innovation, creativity, inspiration, forgiveness, service, healing. You then yearn to know more, explore the mysteries, and experience the soul. You understand how positive thinking and love can heal, and you want to clean up your body, lose weight, detoxify, rejuvenate, exercise, live consciously and artfully. 3. The personal collective subconscious mind empties. As the vibratory rate of your emotions and physical body increases, subconscious blocks, which are fear-based emotions of low frequency, can no longer remain stored and suppressed. Low frequencies cannot exist in a field of high-frequency energy and awareness. The blockages respond like popcorn to heat, exploding up from their hiding places into your conscious mind. As they do, repressed memories surface and personal dramas and traumas occur. And old beliefs in limitation and negativity are unconsciously reenacted. You face shame, grief, terror, hatred, and the dark corners of your psyche. You must decide to undertake the hero's journey through the underworld. to penetrate into the subconscious and the unknown to find understanding. Naturally, there is great resistance to doing this, and courage is required. At this stage, it helps to know there are proven methods for moving ahead. The phase doesn't last forever, and the things that are surfacing are not who you are. Pessimism and dread tend to increase. Your dreams and fantasies can become intense, even violent and frightening, and your worst case scenarios may happen. You experience a destabilization of things that used to be in balance, anxiety and panic.
Yes. This is also when you begin to have those extreme
Attacks.
vivid dreams. This is the stage, because he said this is 3, right? This is the stage where you begin to have those extremely vivid dreams. I'm talking about where you see people who don't like you, okay? Where you see people who will tell you that they hate you, who will stick their middle finger up at you. You'll have people who you'll hear and you'll see that they gossip about you, right? This is that stage. Okay, this is shit. I missed the whole motherfucking box.
You may think you're going crazy, or you've developed a personality disorder. Scandals, taboos, abuse, and skeletons in the closet are revealed in public. Secrecy and privacy are things of the past. You might experience explosions, aneurysms, road rage, domestic abuse, acts of terror, and volcanic eruptions as the lid comes off the pressure cooker. Or you might develop chronic pain as memories of painful abuse surface. I'm upset and afraid. Life is too intense and won't let up. My worst fears are taking shape. I can't control myself. As your subconscious mind opens like Pandora's box, you notice increased dualistic either-or thinking. Fear beliefs are based on polarity. For example, if I'm loud, I'll be punished, so I must be silent. You now notice many polarities and their attached beliefs and emotions, good, bad, inside, outside, black, white, male, female, young, old, smart, stupid, beautiful, ugly, winner, loser, life, death. You learn how much willpower it takes to keep opposites separate, since the accelerated energy wants to connect them so they flow into and turn into each other, as in the figure-8 flow of the yin-yang symbol. When this happens, you experience the shadow side you've been resisting. Then, as the energy flow moves you on into the light side again, you see how the dark and light, in their positive aspects, actually feed energy into each other. But initially, the pressure of the movement highlights the blocks to the figure-8 flow, your prejudices, fixations, and resistances.
We hope you enjoyed this preview. To continue listening to this audiobook on Google Play Books, use the link in the video description.
They knew to sell it this way because we was at level 3. They knew to sell it here. Because this right here make us want to read some more. Let me see. What link? I'm trying to get to the link, baby. Making me some tea. I'm thinking I might make some peppermint tea. Let me go ahead and click this link for a second, y'all. Hold on. I'm like straight chocolate. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to buy this book on Audible. It's $15 on for audiobook. All right. Somebody got had this bitch for free on motherfucking YouTube. Ain't no motherfucking way. This book is old. 2009 is old. Ain't no way nobody ain't got this book online. There's a lot of I think I like Penny's book a little bit more. As you see, I have a lot of books that I use. You see this one right here is my book right here, The Creative Code. Creative Code is the dopest. Dopest book ever. So in my personal world, I was talking to my homie and I was expressing to her that, you know, a little thing I'm doing over here. And I said, I'm coming into alignment. I'm coming into alignment of the very thing that I do. I'm removing a lot of stuff. I'm removing things that's just, it's just in the way, right? The way she said it in the first stage, said things is in the way. It's just in the way. I'm removing things that just don't connect with me. I said that I'm getting rid of even the way I'm in my home, the way I think about money, all these different things I'm walking away from, right? I'm getting away from it, right? And I was like, I'm aligning for that which I want. And I expressed to them, I said, yo, I thought about when I told her, I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Oh shit, I didn't even get it. Where did it go? Huh? What happened? Huh? Oh shit. What the fuck? Why do they keep saying that? So anyway, my bad, y'all. I'm pissed off. I just got pissed off. That's why she should have told me so I could have been more prepared. So what happened is when I began to express to her, I was like, look, I'm going to just, this is the vision that I have for myself, right? I said, this is the vision that I have for what I truly want for myself, how I really want to wake up every day with myself, right? This is what I said. This is how I want to wake up every day with myself with this type of lifestyle, right? And what happened was I woke up the next day and said, I don't have to live in this said place to have what it is that I'm asking for. I can give that to myself right now. I can be those things to myself right now. And that's what I began. I started to realize I have a lot of stuff. Like, no, I have a lot of stuff. I started to realize that I have a lot of things that I literally can just, I can utilize here. I have things that I need to toss away. I have a lot of clutter that I need to toss away. And I've come to that as well. And so I was like, it's time to open up and get rid of all of this clutter. Now, I'm not like a pack rat. I'm not a hoarder or nothing like that. It's not that deep. It's just I have suitcases, I have boxes, I have things in a closet that I have just there that it's time to pull out and clean out, right? And just make empty, meaning have nothing in them. Just make them empty and utilize everything that I have, from cameras to camcorders to tripods, lights, whatever I got, and make way with it and build that vision of where I said that I want to be and how I want to be there. You have to start where you are at when it comes to manifestation and frequency. Everybody that I know who are fashion designers, stylists, okay? Okay. Anybody I know, because I'm gonna show you this page called Style Like Us, who live a certain type of way. These people have a certain way that they keep their home. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you. They have what they call the closet interview. And I'm going to show you what these people's homes look like. It was one Asian guy. I don't, I'm going to share this. I'm going to once again claim fair use. This is for education purposes. I just want to play what he says in the very beginning because I want you to hear the mentality of people. And we're going to pause it as we mute it and look at his home and everything that comes with it. Hold on.
It's hard to speak things into existence. They are, and I don't feel like people are conscious enough to.
Artist things into the existence because of who they are. Now, this is a traveled man. He's been to Japan. He's been to Africa. He's been to Paris. He's been all over. Nepal, Croatia. He's been everywhere. This man has been everywhere. And now I can't tell you anything about where he's been in this interview, but this is what I know about now. So let's go.
Realize the power they have. So I don't know, maybe conscious spread love. I was born in Chicago. I went to Jamaica when I was 3 or 4 months.
I'm not trying to hear that story. All right. So we got clothes on the floor. All right. We got clothes on the motherfucking floor. Okay. So I'm trying to get into the making of the home because Style Like Us is pretty dope. So we have I love bricks. Okay. I love bricks. So we have a home brick setting, a fireplace setting, with candles, and the bookshelf and stuff is in this corner with these very beautiful candles. I love candles like that. And we then have him in his clothes. Okay. And you can see how cultural the pieces are. It ain't really showing much because usually we get people's clothes and we get their actual home and background. So we have this piece behind him that's hanging on a wall. And then we have the tapestry in the background. We have a lot of nice colors, a lot of very earthly, grounded, stable, a lot of earthly colors going on here. We have a nice tapestry that he probably been holding on to for a long time because that's a typical tapestry that everybody has. And you can see this couch is very nice. Like everything looks pretty thrifted, well put together. And it looks like it's probably a small part of the house or whatever, right? I was trying to show you a little bit more. He didn't, of course, the man didn't have much going on there. What's underneath is a good one. They've been doing that one. Now we got closets. Okay, this is the most recent joint they've been doing. Okay. I was trying to take you back to the classic. Is this that bitch I hate? Yeah, that's her. The one who was getting into trans and non-binary. Yeah, don't fuck with her. I know her face any fucking where. Don't fuck with her. Yeah, it was back when people were going real hard on that trans non-binary topic, and I was trying to be cordial. You know, out of town motherfuckers. Yeah. When I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. How a breakup, losing the pet, and pandemic made Sony. Okay, no. I'm trying to take it to the classic. The classic is when they would actually be like the one you saw with him. Will they will actually be in people's houses and you would see their full closet, but you will see the making of their home too. That was like my favorite. Oh, it looks like they took it away. Dailies. That was it. 77 videos. Here we go. This was the one where I absolutely adore it because you get to get a piece of style like you, not style like us. 2014. Yes, they would have people like this and see the beauty of their home. And it told you everything you needed to know. Oh, she's a dancer. Very beautiful woman. She looks like a Carmen. And so, what I'm getting at is the frequency of these people. They're aligning, you align yourself up in the now with whatever you have. It's how you live. It's the frequency. So you align yourself to the frequency. My life, what it used to be 7 years ago, is not what it is today. And each time that I get somewhere new to stay, I get better with keeping it up. I get better with how I decorate it. I get better with how I put the frequency into that space. I get better with even minimalism. I'm not a minimalist, but how I learn to keep a lot of space in certain places in my, like I learned to have how I can have space to walk and get rid of clutter and do things that's important. You see? I also learn more how to just get rid of things that I just don't wear, I just don't deal with. If it doesn't spark me, if I don't wear it, if it's not nothing interesting to me, then it doesn't need to be in my closet. Matter of fact, put it in the other closet in the back room. That's how much I have no interest in the piece. And so these are the many things that comes with understanding how alignment and frequency works for your life. When people come into your home, they should be able to identify the frequency of who you are the moment that they step in. You know how many people I have seen have a home and they have so much tapestries all over the place, so much art all over the place. They have so much of everything. Matter of fact, it just hit me. It just hit me. Give me a moment. There's somebody I follow on Instagram, not her, Let me find her. I want to show y'all. Oh damn. We was at the top of the hour like that. Y'all. How very talented this young lady is. I gotta find her. I put the young lady's name that fast. Sometimes I like to send people comments so I can go back to their page. I have no clue what her name is. That's the wild part. So I'm going to have to go into my following list to find her. Until then, go back to this video. But the point I'm making is, I know I'm following her. The point I'm making is there is a frequency that you carry in your home, that you carry in your space, that is very key to keep frequency up. Okay. So we see this woman here. I don't know why it's freezing. I have no clue. So we have this lady right here. Something is making, I don't know what, but I'll figure it out later. As you can tell, these are older people. These are elders, right? Right. These are elders. But look at how life is unified around them. I am following too many people. It is time to erase these people. Oh, this motherfucker. You shouldn't even be on the follow list. I didn't realize who that was. Like, girl, get your skimming ass off my follow list. All right, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to remember Shorty's name. That's the wild part about it. Damn, I don't found all copied all my fam shit. God damn. Like all 3 of their pages. Get some people I need to unfollow because shit, they ain't following me. What the fuck I'm following them for? We ain't doing that. I cannot find her. I gotta wait for her to come across my page. I have no clue what this girl's name is. I can't believe I really forgot this young lady's name. So, found her. That's right. I found her. I felt the need to show this young lady. She is in school. Says, that's before she got her face done. I'm not hating. I found her. She's dope. Follow her. Do not harass her. Do not be a weirdo. For all of you that love fashion, I want to use this young lady as the perfect example of all that I talk about. Okay. There she goes. No, that's not her. She had to spell her name super fancy. I knew she did. There she go. Is that her face? There she go. Okay. She is a fashion student. Okay. She has a girlfriend, very pretty girlfriend. That's how I found her, because they had did a video that was funny. You know the video when that the partner's dancing and then the other one jump in front of them to make sure everybody see when they dancing, and then she kept dancing after after she stood in front of her. I thought that was cute. That video might come up, but anyway, she is a fashion student. And she teaches a lot, and she does her own fashion shows, and she completely aligns with the world of fashion and clothes. So I'm going to just take you straight to videos, her reels, and we are going to jump into the type of videos that this young lady does and the type of work that she does. This is the perfect example of that.
Her life, all she wanted was hair.
Okay, let me take that off, because that's my song right there. Okay. So that's her entire space. I wish I could do it bigger. I wish it could be a widescreen, but it can't. I don't even think she has a YouTube. Let me see. A lot of people do not even do YouTube no more, honestly. Some people don't even fuck with it. Unless they already had it. Other than that, nobody really. Yeah, nobody really fuck with it. Yeah, she doesn't have. Okay, she does have a YouTube. Okay. See the YouTube for a minute. YouTube is shut down. It's not there no more. Yeah. So this young lady, let's try to clear it out. This is her working space. She graduated. Okay, she had to master it. Tired of being a bachelor, she said, I had to master it. That's beautiful. So we see this is her bed. Her bed with everything on it. And what surrounds her bed is a tapestry, plushies over here in the corner, plants, whether real or fake. That one looks real. And this is her living space. This is her world. And a nice, cute little carpet on the floor. And everything is clothes, fashion. You could just see it right here in the space that she's in. That is her vortex. That is a frequency. That is the frequency that she is pocketing, that she is in, and that when she walks outside, she remains in. I really like the way she does her hair. She's dancing to the song. What's the sad story?
Finna do, cause this gon' make the news, gotta make your move. Told that bitch get in, cause she looking confused. I broke the rule, cause this bitch you witness.
No one cares. Work hard. You see that? She said it was a sad story, but no one cared. You just work hard. And she's a very beautiful young lady. I mean, very beautiful. Accessories, style. She teaches this. But the main thing I wanted you to just see is this is her living space. Now, this is probably her bedroom, living room. We don't fucking know. It's in her house. And this is where she works. This is where she lives. This is where she takes us in her world. This is her younger before she got and came into herself in fashion and style. Started doing her own shows. Okay. And so we have this. So let me hit up my homie. Like, goddamn, I'm so mad that just happened. I will eat something with what I got. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to find somewhere to eat. I'm trying not to eat no fast food, but I'm going to figure out something. So what happened is, again, we are pulled into her world, into her frequency. I don't know this young lady, but I've known people as this young lady. Okay. And this is why I want y'all to hear me very closely. When your world is like this and you decide to have a relationship, this is me talking to the young ones out there. That relationship needs to align with you. Do not have a relationship that does not align with you. All right? Because it will your frequency. Don't ever think that it won't, because it will. And that's where the anger and the resentment comes. At least that's what happened to me. That's where my anger and my resentment came in. So this is her style. This is how she walks outside. This is what she's created for herself. This is what she starts as her fashion show. Is it on Paris runway? Is it in London? Shit. Is it at your high fashion, local fashion student fucking? No. But it's done. It's on her resume. She's riding a frequency of having put a fashion show together, putting models together for the fashion show. And she's also in school. So she's eating up opportunity as well as on the frequency of that is what she's doing. Again, I think she works at a clothes store, retail. So again, she is aligning up with herself. And she's able to go work and still have her own style with a little bit more sophistication. And you could see even the girlfriend has style. Okay. People are going to places I have never seen before. I'm like, these places got to be new. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is new. I'm like, I've never seen this place before. Okay. Once again, riding frequency. There's the partner. Is that a cigarette? I'm dead. The cigarette is killing me. And you can see the style. Very eclectic. I love this style. I love this look. And then she probably dresses her. Okay. And we had another part of this room. They probably renting a room. And I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just saying they're probably literally renting a room out and living there. But it doesn't matter, because what matters is how are they riding the frequency of where they are and the frequency about how they're living. I have met people who live like this and they live in the hood and you would never fucking know that they're in the hood. They'd be like, yeah, I lived in the ghetto. You'd be like, you lived in the ghetto? You're like, yeah, it was in the ghetto and it wasn't safe there and I had to move. It wasn't safe no more. And I'll be like, you would not even know that they lived there. Somebody like me, I won't be surprised. But that's because there's a frequency that they're riding and that they're manifesting on. And that's what it is. Oh, that's a new magazine. I've never seen no BK style. People like this, their day-to-day routine is everything that you see. Their whole entire world is everything that you see them doing right there. That's their whole entire world. Okay. When you are so busy and aligning with your frequency, I promise you nothing and nobody else matters. I promise you. Nothing and nobody else even matters when you are aligned with your frequency. This is this girl whole entire world. Okay? And that is how the frequency has to go. Okay, this is the video I was talking about, y'all. Hold on. Can I go back? Hello? This is the video that made me find them. Let me play a bit of this.
Wanna see it from the back? Pussy crip and it's 55.
See? You heard what it said, and then she came up in the front. I thought that was so cute. That's how I found them. It was from the song. And then I'll let do something else. If you sit here and you say, well, what about bills? What about 9 to 5s? Then I tell you to slap yourself. You can't figure that out. You can't figure out how to get a 9 to 5 and still work on the things you want to do. You can't figure out how to pay your bills. What are you asking me? Slap yourself if that's what you're going to ask. If your perception of freedom is that you can't get this, you can't get that, then you're not ready for what you're asking for. Because none of that stuff matters. I purposely did not go back to retail because retail is fucking boring. Retail is fucking boring. I purposefully did not go into certain field of work because I know how boring retail can be. And so this is why when it comes to spirituality and it goes into people who are in inner cities versus people in out of town people, this is where separatism comes in with the frequency, because whatever it is you're going to manifest, you're going to manifest. She lined her life up. She went to school for fashion. She lined her life up. Whatever struggles, whatever, we don't hear about it. She just making shit happen. You see what she said? She didn't even show you where her telling you what the hell was going on. She cried and she got up and she kept going. Probably don't know how much work it took and frustration it took to show together, but she did it. And so what I want you all to understand is that these things are the key. Okay? These things are the key to whatever it is that you are manifesting for yourself. You heard what the artist said. He said artists are always manifesting, always creating. We're always doing that. That's just what we do. Something like that, he said. If nobody understands you and what you're doing, they ain't for you. It's that simple. They're not for you. They ain't on your frequency. They ain't there. And let me tell you something. These people, they wouldn't even put in a pinky of the work that you put in for yourself to do the things that you do. There's people that can't stop fucking or eating a certain way to attain what it is that they want to attain. There's people who they're going to look at your lifestyle and who you are, and they're going to have a lot to say. They're not going to understand who you are, what you are, and what you do, and how you do it, and why you do it. They're not going to understand it. You're going to have people who they are not. I repeat, they are not going to ever comprehend who you are and why you do the things that you do. And this is why you have to keep at the frequency that you have to keep at. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? You have to keep at the frequency that you have to keep at. What does that mean? Okay, I'll tell you what that means. It's another way of just saying you just have to remain focused on whatever it is that you do. You have to remain focused. You cannot listen to nobody. Do you hear me? You cannot listen to nobody. All right? Whatever calculated risks you are taking, whatever way you are manifesting, that's it. Because everybody will purposely get in your way because they will never do what you do. People can't even eat healthy. People don't have the discipline to even take their lives and eat healthier. People don't even know how to go outside and walk by themselves without needing someone to be there with them. I need you to understand that. Okay? They don't know how to do that. So you think that people are going to understand when you go out here in this world and you go out here and you decide to manifest a life that you want for yourself? When you're on your computer and complete a project or open up your sketchbook and just sketch out ideas, even sketch out the idea you have for your own living room, you think people will understand that? I'm here to tell you that they're not going to understand that. I'm here to tell you that they're not going to be the one to be your support, your ally in that. I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to tell you this too. There's a lot of people you won't even remember their name. They're so unworthy of. You won't even remember their name. There are people where you won't even have a memory of them. That's how far gone they are. That's how irrelevant they become. But what you have to do and what you have to continue to do, I like this video, is you have to self-correct. No, you take me all the way out there. You have to self-correct. Okay? What does that mean? It means that you have to be in your frequency. You have to be so aware of yourself that other people don't matter. These people will start to look like bums and losers to you. These people will start, you start to be like, this is such a loser mentality. you start to realize this such a loser mentality. You're a loser, you're a bum, you're dusty. And you ignore and you get away from these type of people. Oh shit. Me. What else? Say? That's how you begin to look at these people. So we're gonna go ahead. I kind of dragged this. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off this show because I didn't really get to get into the psyche of people in town and out of town, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. So I'm gonna end this show and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do a show on frequency. Okay, part 1. And so we're gonna play this book. I'll be back because I'm pissed off. And I want to talk about that before I start the show. Just end the damn stream, people. Stop.